Here comes your pre-market summary for Friday, April 14th. Futures holding on to positive territory or trying to get back to positive territory this morning, coming off a decent showing yesterday after we got a second straight inflation print moving in the right direction. Both CPI and PPI coming in to the downside. That had tech with a huge day yesterday. NASDAQ specifically leading the way throughout the entire session, up more than 2% when all was said and done. Here's how things look. Right now, the Dow trying ever so slightly anyway to stay in positive territory there, 0.9, 0.06 for the S&P, about 0.5% already for the NASDAQ. Bit of a pullback here, but we are seeing a little bit of a bounce in individual names so far in the pre-market. 0.234 the TSX futures here in Toronto, pointing to a higher open as well. Ethereum now 12%, I saw this morning, to the upside in 2 days. So since the update comes through, going back a couple of nights ago, we got 12% move there, 5.4 today for ETH to the upside. Here's what's coming up this morning, 8:30 U.S. retail sales, month over month expected. We'll also get import prices. We do get some Fed speak this morning as well, 8:30 and then 8:45. We get Goolsbee and Waller coming through, so we'll talk about that this morning as well. And then the bigger number a little bit later on, University of Michigan sentiment coming up at 10 o'clock. There is, remember, a inflation portion to that number, both a 5-year and a 1-year expectation number for University of Michigan sentiment at 10 o'clock. That'll be the big market mover this morning. That's how the SPY is setting up. S&P took out those highs yesterday, didn't look back. Same story for the NASDAQ, looks pretty good. Trying to get back to 320 here. We've seen a little bit of weakness throughout the week here for tech and the NASDAQ specifically, but yesterday with a huge move back to the upside. It's all about bank earnings this morning, obviously. JP Wells Fargo, Citigroup all coming through. Pretty good report, to say the least, here for JP. I saw investment income up more than 50% in the quarter. Pretty impressive for JP. Wells Fargo higher. Citigroup still waiting for their numbers to come through. They typically report a little bit later, but higher anyways after JPM and WFC. Boeing, on the other hand, can't get out of their own way. Unfortunately, Boeing downside once again. More problems with the 737 MAX production. Spirit Aero Systems is their name, SPR. Downside in a big way, the supplier for Boeing getting hit on that as well. More price cuts for Tesla as well. This time coming through in Europe, Israel, and Singapore, on top of what we learned about earlier in the week. North America, then China. Now basically the rest of the world, they're just cutting prices right across everywhere. We'll talk Tesla. We'll talk Lucid, downside on that production update after the close yesterday. RIVN getting hit here as well. TD Cowen not liking, or this was for Meta Platforms, but there was a downgrade this morning and a couple of negative notes rather on RIVN as well. So under pressure about 3.5%. Grab the watch list, guys. Use that QR code on screen right now, bottom corner. We'll see you coming up at 8:30. A ton of economic data, ton of things moving around. We'll see you shortly on TraderTV.Live.